against Alvin Too Sweet Hayes, who just coincidentally happens to be from Detroit, Michigan. Now, Jimmy Paul, the champion, comes in at 135 and is 5 feet 9 inches tall. The interesting thing about the fight, Too Sweet Hayes, 133 3/4, is 6 feet 1. Their records, Jimmy Paul, the champion, 23-1 with 19 knockouts. Alvin Hayes, undefeated, 22-0 with 19 knockouts. Any thoughts on this fight, Bert Sugar?
I think you're going to see one hell of a fight. Jimmy Paul is a scrapper, and Alvin Hayes, as awkward as he looks like he has his shoulders coming out of his ears, is one of the most powerful punchers for his size. He's awkward, he's deceptive in the same way a Carlos Monzon was. This is going to be a good battle.
Jerry, have you had a chance to see Jimmy Paul or Alvin Hayes in action?
I've seen them both. They're both outstanding lightweights. Hayes is very tall, got a good reach. Paul likes to get a little inside, but even at 5'9", he's a tall lightweight. You've got two exceptionally tall lightweights in together. They're both slick. They can do it.
We didn't get a chance to fully develop the thought on the odds on the main go. I'd like to kick it around with both you and
Alvin Hayes.
Well, that's Alvin Hayes. Looks though he should be on the Wrestling on World of Sport a bit, doesn't he? Never seen a fighter come into the ring with a mask.
Now the gentleman wearing the mask, well, we'll have to wait till he unmasks.
That is Alvin Hayes. That is the man.
That is something. I don't know if it's the man or
Alvin Hayes.
It's that or Boy George. It's one of them.
Well, if he can't fight, he can certainly go into showbiz. He is very dramatic.
You better not fight in Scranton, Providence, or Pocatello, Idaho in that outfit.
How about Fall River?
Never.
He's got a pink mask on, as you can see, and a pink and red outfit. And I think the only word that I could use to describe it is adorable.
Outrageous might be another one.
Sick is another one.
He's making a point, though, maybe over-exaggerating it. He's a hell of a showman. He's a mover. And I'm not sure he even has a spinal column the way he's moving up there.
Now there's the champion in the lightweight division, United States Boxing Association. Very dull, as you can see, very plain, wearing a simple white robe, Jimmy Paul. Jimmy Paul in the Emmanuel Stewart stable. Did Emmanuel leave anybody home in Detroit, Jerry?
Yes, but I don't think we should mention it.
Let's go up to ring announcer Chuck Hall.
For the USBA for the next contest of the evening is Dr. Stuart E. Kirschenbaum, the chairman of the Athletic Board of Control of the state of Michigan. The officials assigned by the Nevada State Athletic Commission for the next bout of the evening. The judges are Lou Tabbitt, Dwayne Ford, and Dave Moretti. The timekeeper is Mike Lachella. Counting in the knockdowns, Al Bisick, and the referee is Richard Steele. The next bout of the evening, ladies and gentlemen, 12 rounds of boxing for the USBA Lightweight Championship. Introducing, in the red corner, the challenger, fighting out of Detroit, Michigan, weighing in at 133 3/4 pounds. He is undefeated in his professional career with 22 wins, no defeats, and 19 KOs. Ladies and gentlemen, presenting Alvin Too Sweet Hayes. And in the blue corner, also from Detroit, Michigan, weighing in at 135 pounds. His professional record is 18 wins, 1 defeat, with 17 KOs. Here is the USBA Lightweight Champion, Jimmy Paul.
gave you instructions in the dressing room. I want to remind you, and caution you obey them at all times. Shake hands, good luck.
12 rounds of boxing.
All right, we're ready to go. 12 rounds for the United States Boxing Association Lightweight Championship. Jimmy Paul in the gold trunks, the title holder, and Alvin Too Sweet Hayes in the pink and red. Both boys from Detroit, Michigan. Remember that Hayes is 6'1", 4 inches taller than the champion Jimmy Paul.
Watch that right hand of Hayes. He might call himself Too Sweet, but maybe he'll take care of Jimmy Paul Too Sweet. That right hand is a powerful punch, and he is all business in the ring, despite what he came in as or whatever act he was putting on. Also, I've never seen pockets in trunks before. Have you, Jerry?
No. Usually fighters have their hands in somebody else's.
That's the managers, the manager.
I like those little puff balls on his feet.
Is that Arabic written across his trunks?
You could fool me. It looks Greek to me. He's completely outfitted, I'll tell you that. Whatever he's got, it's an outfit. However, I think the time is not to look at outfits. It's to look at the hands of Alvin Hayes.
We're halfway through round number 1. Jimmy Paul in the gold trunks, the USBA Lightweight title holder, Alvin Hayes, Too Sweet, in the pink and red, and the adorable little pom-poms on his shoes.
It's interesting to note that Alvin Hayes' hero, if you will, is Sugar Ray Leonard. And yet I think he has a style all his own, unlike several who copied Muhammad Ali. Alvin Hayes, probably because of his height, has developed his own style, which is indigenously his. There goes the right hand.
I wasn't sure when Alvin Hayes came into the ring whether it was a boxer or the Lone Ranger.
Well, he's not trying to steal a fight. He's making it right to Jimmy Paul.
Jimmy Paul should take that second step when he moves with the first step inside. Because after the first step, Hayes just backs up. You've got to pursue a tall guy like that and bite his chest and stay there.
Coming down to the end of the first round.
So one step.
And we follow champion Jimmy Paul back into his corner. I thought round 1 might have been very even, Bert Sugar.
I think it belonged to Alvin Hayes. He set the pace. He landed his long left jab. He's loading up on his right, but he did connect twice. And in my unhumble estimation, I think that it belonged to Alvin Hayes.
Jerry?
Coin toss.
That's the way I felt about it.
It all depends how you score it. If you scored it on the kid who's forcing the fight, you might get a slight edge to Paul. If you're scoring it from a technical aspect and who landed the most punches, no matter how effective they were, you'd give it to the string bean.
Bert Sugar, go stand in the corner. You're outvoted 2-1.
Being outvoted has never bothered me before. That's why I'm the ex-publisher editor of Ring.
We've been looking at champion Jimmy Paul as we get ready for round 2. And more fans file into this outdoor arena at Caesars Palace in Caesars World here in very warm Las Vegas, Nevada. These fights that are scheduled for 12, if they go the distance, this weather could be a very decisive factor.
Hayes is content to try to impale Paul on his left. And this goes back to a point Jerry raised. With Paul taking one step in, maybe that's the reason, because he's not there at all times to be had. But he was there.
Hayes countered with the left that time and got it in. Made Paul take the step back. Overhand right missed.
When you have that much height and that reach advantage, you should not be taking a backward step. You should be stepping in with the jab and putting it there not once, but 3 times. Hayes is pulling the jab back and dropping it down to his hip. He could get nailed with an overhand right if Paul moves in.
Halfway through round 2.
But what you just discussed is the Emanuel Stewart method of boxing. And you'll have to remember Emanuel's man is on the left in Jimmy Paul and not Alvin Hayes.
Alvin Hayes reminds me of some pitchers in baseball. He's all elbows and kneecaps. He just comes at you from 6 different angles as we go down to the final minute of round number 2.
Maybe you've just touched on why he wore a mask into the ring.
30 seconds remain in round number 2. If you joined us late, just walked into your living room or the theater, this is a 12-round lightweight title fight for the United States Boxing Association Championship. Champion Jimmy Paul in gold, challenger Alvin Hayes in pink and red, both from Detroit, Michigan. Alvin Hayes managed by Joe Smelly, Emanuel Stewart managing Jimmy Paul. This special event is being brought to you on the Event Television Network.
This has been a pretty evenly matched contest, Bert. I mean, I like both their styles, contrast. I'm interested to see how Paul attempts to overcome this big, long reach of Hayes.
I think he's tentative, and yet he took the last round by forcing the action in the last minute and a half of it.
Round number 3, USBA Lightweight Championship bout. We've seen a very fine undercard, and this fight is no exception. Bear in mind that Jimmy Paul is 4 inches shorter than his challenger, Alvin Hayes, which brings to mind what we're going to see in the main event. One man almost 6 inches taller than the other, and with an 11-inch edge in reach.
But you cannot measure what Roberto Duran has in his chest, and that can overcome any height or reach disadvantage.
I'll accept that.
And Jimmy Paul is not Roberto Duran. Nobody is.
Halfway through round number 3. Alvin Hayes staying back at long range, sticking him with that jab. Champion Jimmy Paul trying to move inside. Not a great deal of success to this point. Alvin pacing himself in the heat as we get to the 2-minute mark of round number 3. Overhand right did no damage, or the left hook, I should say.
Doubled up the hook. It was a nice shot by Hayes.
Good flurry.
Right now, Hayes is trying to measure him. He's not yet within the range, but the measurement has come shorter, and it looks like it may be a starter kick.
The follow-up left got him off balance. Paul getting in one of his better shots. Not a lot of damage. And there was no Alvin Hayes when he followed with the right. 10 seconds remaining in round 3. Some good body blows by champion Jimmy Paul as the bell sounds the end of round number 3. Do you see a trend, Bert Sugar?
Well, I see 2 trends. For the first time, there's Larry Holmes. He's happier than I've seen him in a long time. Maybe it's because he's not fighting tonight.
Well, you'd be if you got $3.5 million for not fighting. He would have been here last week if things went right, but things didn't exactly go wrong for him.
There's Joan Rivers, who's playing in the main showroom here at Caesars Palace, as many celebrities file in.
I'm surprised to see Joan facing the right direction. She's at least looking at the ring.
On her finger, 6 carats.
Joan just opened here at Caesars and couldn't get in the place last night. All right, round number 4 coming up. Again, a reminder, if you came in late, United States Boxing Association Lightweight Championship fight, 12 rounds. Champion Jimmy Paul out of Detroit against a fellow Michigander, Alvin Hayes. Hayes in the pink and red. Paul in the gold trunks. Very close fight to this point.
You asked me before Larry's emergence if I saw any trends, Mal. I see one, and Paul did it correctly. He went to the body and heavily at the end of the last round, which is the first time he's really tried to get to the longer-bodied Hayes, which is, I think, the way to fight him.
Alvin Hayes seems to be content to counter a lot now, and is scoring with the jab at long range.
But you see, like most tall fighters with good jabs, they snap it out, and instead of bringing it back, they drop it down to their hip. It's like a style of fighting, a fast-handed style of fighting, but you can get into a lot of trouble with that, which he can get into.
It seems to be a Detroit idiom. A lot of Detroit fighters do it that way.
As you can see, when he finishes sticking the jab out, he drops it onto his left hip, leaving himself open for the right cross if Paul can get it off on time. Jimmy Paul content to work on the body. Not much of a body to work on. He's very slender and very trim in shape. 1.5 minutes in round 4.
He looks like the kind of man who could work in an olive factory dragging the pimento through.
I hope your books are this funny.
They're probably not. I read them. I always thought I was a writer till my wife read them and told me I wasn't.
Little breeze coming up now to the relief of most of us. Not much of one, just enough to make you take a little deep breath. 1 minute remaining.
Alvin Hayes is going to the body now, which is a switch in tactics for him, too.
They exchanged good shots that time, both lefts. Round 4, USBA Lightweight Championship fight.
I'm interested in something that Jimmy Paul just did. Whenever anybody's hit with a low punch, which he was borderline, they pull down their trunks. I've never understood that. I thought you pulled them up. Of course, Archie Moore could pull them every which way and they wouldn't move. They were made by Omar the tent maker.
Archie used to wear them up around his chest.
and they went down to his shoe tops.
The final seconds of round number 4. Neither boy has really landed a telling punch so far, Jerry Lisker. Does either boy have a telling punch?
They both bang well for lightweights, but they've got a lot of respect for each other.
See, when you let those punches go, how you had control of him, you got to dig down here and it opens those shots to the head. You hear me?
Wrapped back.
And be first. You don't have to throw hard shots. Set up the hard shots. Just bing, bing, bing. Make him pay. When he comes in, you dig here first, and then go to the head. All right?
You can hear the comments of Joe Smelly Jr., the manager of Alvin Hayes, in the corner right over our heads. Lovely Lola Falana playing here in Las Vegas. Beautiful as ever. Joe Smelly telling his boy how he wants to go into round 5. Round number 5. As the crowd builds in size from moment to moment, we're watching the USBA Lightweight Championship fight. Actually, earlier Alvin Hayes was getting instructions from Jesse Reed, the former trainer of Roger Mayweather and Bruce Curry. Referee Richard Steele said something to Alvin Hayes. Hayes back. Nice right hand there.
They're rolling the dice now. Somebody had to open it up, and they have.
But you'll notice that Paul has almost doubled up Hayes with one left to the body.
The hands are coming down, Bert. If you'll notice, those 2 body shots have taken their toll.
And yet he's still loading up with that right hand. Paul is dictating the momentum right now.
He's put the bull on him in the last round, and he's carrying it through this round.
Maybe it was those 2 body shots at the end of the 3rd round that began this momentum and pattern.
A minute and a half remaining in round 5. Been a good fight so far. No really devastating punches have been landed. But I have a feeling this 90-degree plus weather is beginning to take its toll. We'll know as the fight progresses. Hayes in the corner, but he's counter-punching well. Paul backs him in again, measuring him with 1 minute remaining.
Having seen Alvin before, I think this is a planned retreat to the corner, though. He can get out of there. This comes from the Wilfred Benitez School of Boxing.
Yes, and we saw what happened to Wolfed against Mustafa Hamsha.
He's still in the corner, isn't he?
I think he's still throwing up.
Hayes countering, Paul forcing the fight. Half a minute remaining, round 5, USBA Lightweight Championship.
Neither fighter is throwing more than 2 punches at a time in a combination. It's left hook, right hand. Can't do that.
And round 5. How hot is it, you ask?
How hot is it?
It's hot enough so that Jerry Lisker and I have done the ungentlemanly thing of removing our tuxedo jackets.
But a cab driver promised me a gale tonight. He said there would be a gale.
Okay,
and I'm afraid he disappointed me.
Joan Rivers and Larry Holmes. I'm not sure if they were matched who would win.
It depends
she would
what they were
out-talk
fighting,
him.
Yes. The Muhammad Ali of show business.
Joan is packing the house here at Caesar's Palace.
Look down and take it right on over. You're going to get this guy out of here. You got to want it.
Let's go, baby. We want this, don't we?
Now you're listening to Jesse Reed.
You got to want it. That's what's going to win this fight.
The former trainer, Roger Mayweather, and Bruce Curry talking to his charge, Alvin Hayes, and he's telling him to take him out. So let's see if Alvin Hayes changes his tactics in round number 6.
Well, this is similar to Gil Clancy and his exhortations to Emil Griffith. You gotta want it.
As opposed to...
You don't gotta want it.
The third man in the ring is Richard Steele, done an outstanding job in this fight. Very few clinches. No warnings to speak of. Jimmy Paul tried the wild right cross, and it wasn't there. Little backhand by Alvin Hayes.
Looked like a big backhand.
If Chrissy Everett had that, she might have beaten Martina.
I finally figured out what the mask is. It might be like Floyd Patterson. If he loses, it gives him something to escape town in.
This is going to be a very difficult fight to score.
It has been to this point. Again, if you joined us late, just got home or came into the theater, Jimmy Paul in the gold trunks, defending his United States Boxing Association Lightweight Championship against Alvin Hayes in the pink and red. Both men from Detroit, Michigan. A minute and a half remaining. Jimmy Paul has an 18-1 record. Alvin Hayes is undefeated at 22-0. But it's no setup for the champion, Paul. Good right counter in the corner by Alvin Hayes.
And he's using his shoulders to advantage. He's picking off punches that are coming at him with those big shoulders. I'm talking about Alvin Hayes.
But that's where Paul should have opened it up. He had him in the corner. He hit him with 2 good shots, and he just laid on. Then you make your decision. Go for it. But he didn't.
1 minute remaining. Jerry Lisker of the New York Post was a national amateur champion. Jerry, when you fought these big, tall, gangly guys, what did you have to do?
Nothing, because I was the big, tall, dangly guy. I was the featherweight that was usually had about as much height as Alvin Hayes has. I used to hate those little beasts who would come in there and bite your little poo-poo off.
30 seconds remaining in the 6th round.
You were a featherweight?
Yes.
Bert just looked over at Jerry and looked down at his paunch and said, "You were a featherweight." That must have been
nice right, nice right.
Whoops, a left hand too. Hayes is hurt.
That's it. He's shot.
Stop it.
And
That's
it's
it.
over.
It's over.
This fight is finished.
Finish it. Finish it. Finish it. That's
He'll
it.
not get up.
Finish it.
He dropped like he was shot by a machine gun.
What a combination.
That was King Kong falling off the tower.
What a combination for champion Jimmy Paul.
If you remember, Bob Foster falling with his leg folded under him exactly the same way against Joe Frazier back in 1970.
Right.
The doctor is in there. He's hurt.
Alvin Hayes had his right leg underneath him, and the referee had to remove it from underneath his body and straighten it out. There's the champion, Jimmy Paul. Here's the replay, and you'll see the knockout.
Look at his left down by his side.
Yeah, his left is down. He jabs with it. Overhand right, that hurt him.
Wobbled him.
Another overhand right,
He's
that
on
wobbled
Quay
him.
Street. His feet are jakey.
Now watch this punch. Lights out, the right hand.
Point of the chin.
Right where it hurts, and as you can see, his right knee and left knees are buckled up under his body. Here's another angle on the replay. Now here's the knockout punch coming up. There it is.
Ooh.
Referee Richard Steele could have counted a long time. See how his knees were folded up under him. Very uncomfortable. Let's go up to our ring announcer for the announcement of...
Ladies and gentlemen, the time, 3 minutes, 2 seconds of the 6th round. The winner by a knockout and still USBA Lightweight Champion, Jimmy Paul.
Next, read your commercial lead. This special event is being brought to you on the Event Television Network.
Hey guys, I'm back. Okay.
Which one?
Give me if there's a problem.
Okay, Doc. Got caught up in the air in the corner. Started dropping your hands to the low and you don't raise them now. Like you should raise your hands out here and into your chest. It's over with, bro. It's over.
All right, we're ready. Sports editor of the New York Post, here at ringside as we await the arrival of the champion, Tommy Hearns, once again the hitman from Detroit, and the challenger, Roberto Duran from Panama, for this WBC Super Welterweight Championship. Right now at fight time, 88 degrees. Let's cut to Shelley Saltman with Richard Pryor. Shelley?
They're bringing the main event out right now. Get your gladiators and your national anthem set.
You're a big boxing fan. You see here all the time. What do you think of the upcoming fight?
I think it's going to be great.
Have you got a prediction for us?
I predict that it's going to be a great fight. It's really going to be fun.
Have you laid any odds as to who might be the winner?
No, I didn't do that.
You don't bet, Richard?
No, not so much. Sometimes I do.
What are you doing right now besides watching the fight? What's in the cards for Richard Pryor?
I'm here begging people for money. I go around collecting money from people because I need money.
Because you need money. Have you left any of you? Well, you don't gamble, you told me, so you haven't left any at the tables. All right, Richard Pryor, enjoy the fight, and thank you very much. And now, back to Mal Alberts.
Thank you, Shelley. Well, gentlemen, this is the one they've all been waiting for.